That's Philly shit. You don't know nothing about that. He's got 8 defeats. Gabriel Rosado has 8 defeats. He technically hasn't won since 2012. I had him winning the Jillian Love fight, and Jillian Love failed the drug test. Defeats to Gennady Golovkin, and what I feel, my personal opinion, and what I feel was Gennady Golovkin's toughest test. Some people say Curtis Stevens. I'm sorry, I feel differently. That's just my opinion. So when you got him losing to Golovkin, you got the fight with Jillian Love, you got him losing to Peter Quillen, and if his eye had held up, I had him maybe stopping Peter Quillen in the later rounds. But a defeat is a defeat. Quillen said he was going to give him a rematch. He didn't, but they cool. Long story short. So he goes on to fight Jamal Charlo. The one that's 24-0 with 11 KOs. He clearly lost that fight. Jamal was way too fast for him. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, all right. Why is he so popular? You know why? It's because despite the fact that he hasn't won since 2012, he fights the best that he can fight. He was supposed to fight James Kirkland in what was supposed to be the biggest fight. Well, not the big, but one of the biggest fights of the year. And especially one of the biggest fights of the remaining, at this part of the year. So, that fight didn't fall through, and he's going to be fighting a fighter that everybody's all high on, David Lemieux. Now, let me say this. I know it's going to be a bunch of Canadians and a bunch of Frenchmen that's going to come on here and say, why you always hating on Canadian fighters? You never know what you're talking about. Hey, it's not personal. He's 32-2 with 30 KOs. But listen to me. I sat here today and watched 6 straight fights of his, and then one of them wasn't the Fernando Guerrero fight. Because I've noticed something about him. Is that go back and watch a fight. Now, if you want to go doubting boxing knowledge, and if you think you know shit about boxing, go and watch a fight with him, Joachim Alcine. He lost that fight by majority decision. Then, just so happens, guess what? He fought your homeboy, Marco Antonio Rubio. Let's talk about those fights. He was beating the shit out of Marco Antonio Rubio. But what happened? He got stopped in the 7th round. Joachim Alcine, he was putting work on Alcine up until round 6. And then what happened? Since then, I believe it's 6 straight or 7 straight fights by knockout. Since then, he's only been to the 7th round. He fought on the undercard of Donna Stevenson versus Fanfara, and you know, they're both Canadians. So I'm asking myself, okay, people keep saying, put Lemieux in there against Golovkin. Lemieux versus Cotto. Lemieux versus Quillen and this and that and this and that. He's good. He's good, but he's human. Did you see the thumbnail? Listen, the dude Joachim Alcine, he was doing shit like winding up and hitting him. He was toying with him. Because you know why? A fighter that you may or may not know, his name is Chris Eubank Jr. He kind of reminds me of him. He fights in bursts. Now, he doesn't do all the showboating, but he's the type of guy, meaning Lemieux, that if you survive just the first 4 rounds, the 5th and the 6th round going to be tough, but after that, you can start turning it over. I mean, you can start turning it around. Because it seems like he's one of those guys that when it comes to his stamina and his endurance, he focuses it all on getting you out of there early. So if he can't get you out of there early, those ferocious bursts of offense that he has slows down. And I've seen this in his 8-round fight, his 7-round knockout fight, his 7-round knockout loss, the Joachim Alcine fight, and a couple other fights. I forgot which ones. But who am I? I'm just some guy in a hoodie and a hat. I don't know shit about boxing. I'm just pretending to be the media. Long story short, Gabriel Rosado, his career is at a crossroads. He's not with his former trainer, Billy Briscoe. From what I've heard, he's relocated out to California. He's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. And you think, like, once again, why is he so popular? Because you know why? Because he's from Philly and he's not no bitch. There's a lot of fighters out here that won't fight this person because of that and because of this and because of that. Pound for pound, look at his record. There's a reason why he's always in good fights and big fights, because everybody knows he's going to provide a show. And that's why he will always get support despite the losses, because he's the type of fighter, in my opinion, and I'm going to be honest with you, he didn't pick up boxing until late. He's the type of fighter that gets better as time goes on, like a Johnny Gonzalez, a Soto Carras, you know, even though he beat Soto Carras, excuse me. Orlando Salido, Bernard Hopkins. But what I'm talking about is, and I don't want to put him in the same category as Hopkins, but what I'm saying, as far as, even though he's taken defeats and he's got an 8 of them, remember he's 21-8 with 13 KOs, meaning Rosado, he gets better with each fight. And he gets better with each loss. So with the loss to Golovkin, he got better. Went on, in my opinion, to beat Jalen Love. And Jalen Love was a much bigger fighter. You know, then he went on to fight Peter Quillen. He learned from that fight. And then Jamal Charlo. But those 3 fights I just named, and then I believe he got cut in the Jalen Love fight. That cut was that cut at this portion of his career played a big part of his career. Because he kept getting cut over the same eye. He damn near bled to death fighting Golovkin. And he's had the scar tissue removed. You know, so he's had plastic surgery to make sure the scar tissue removed, so the cut's not going to be opening up so easy anymore. Now he's going against a guy, remember, who has 30 knockouts. You know, and the fans' perception of the fans that know him and watch Lemieux, they see him as this guy that's going to come out there and just, you know, beat the shit and just blow Rosado out of the ring. I think not. Now, just my opinion, Rosado's got to move, and he's got to pull a Kell Brook, and he's got to pull a Marcos Maidana, tie this motherfucker up. What trainer said that? Tie this motherfucker up. I know Emmanuel Stewart told Lennox Lewis when he fought Mike Tyson, he's like, you better knock this motherfucker out before I hit you with some shit. I don't know, I'm just reminiscing. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, man, Stewart. But I look at it like this, man. Of course, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to say I don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm saying I'm going with Rosado. I'm saying that if Rosado can, and I know this is going to sound like, you know, I'm staying on the fence. I'm going to say that if Rosado can stay off the ropes, because this Lemieux guy, when you get on the ropes, listen, when you get on the ropes, he's going ham. Ham means H-A-M, hard as a motherfucker. He's throwing everything he got at you. If you're in a corner, he's throwing everything he got at you. And if you do get in the corner, Gabe Rosado, you know, you let his ass tire out. Take what you can, but be careful. You know, grab him, hug him, spin him around, you know. Because right now, the strategy is, okay, survive the early rounds. I don't think Rosado's going to knock him out early. No. I'm saying Rosado's got to survive the early rounds, not get cut. And then rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you know, we can probably have a 116, 112 for Rosado. You know, it might be a majority decision because, like I said, Lemieux is going to fight in them bursts. And, you know, those bursts are going to steal the crowd and steal the fans. It's all about if Rosado can hold up to that. Long story short, it's an amazing fight. It's going to be happening on HBO. It's a Golden Boy card. It's going to be happening in the Barclays Center as it stands right now. Barclays, you know, has, I think that's the last date that Golden Boy cards are going to be at Barclays unless they work up some type of new deal, because Oscar De La Hoya brought out AAG. I don't want to get into the politics. Long story short, it's going to be in the Barclays. People thought that Khan versus versus Alexander was going to be in the Barclays, but no, that's going to be in Mandalay Bay. You know, and it makes sense to put that in Vegas if you want Khan people to come over, you know, but you can bring Khan people to New York, but still, you know, for some reason they wanted the Gabriel Rosado, and it's on HBO. So remember, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about it. Anyway, and the owner's thinking about selling. The Russian dude that owned the Nets. You know, long story short, you know, Jay-Z's not there anymore. But I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live, and I cover boxing with Real Combat Media. I cover every single major fight live. For the first time, I'm actually providing full coverage for a fight for Hopkins versus Kovalev, you know, for years, you know, almost. Actually, November, next month will be 4 years I've been on YouTube. And for years, people have been saying, TstreeT, go to the fights, get interviews and everything. You know, I'm there now. You know, you crawl before you walk. So I got some interviews under my belt. Today, right now, it's October the 21st, 2014. I did the, I participated in the media call, you know, for the fight. You know, I went to the opening press conference, you know, media thing. Got the interview with Hopkins, Sergey, and De La Hoya. Next, you know, I will know in exactly probably like 16 hours if my credentials were approved. And I'm saying it's a 90% chance. So I'll be attending Hopkins versus Kovalev. I'll be there for the final press conference. The weigh-in, maybe not, I'm not sure. The weigh-in, you know, and then definitely the fight and the post-fight press conference. And basically provide full coverage. So it's time to get it started. You know, the wheels now turning. I got big plans for 2015, as you know. Whether you believe me or not, I'm going after my promoter's license. You know, and the YouTube is the foundation as far as going in front of the board and saying, okay, this is why you should give me a promoter's license, because I can get thousands of people to listen to me from sitting in this chair. I'm not going to be like that, though, but I'm just saying, making a point. TstreeT Controversy, TstreeT Controversy Live.